Welcome everyone to the Sisters Let's Talk Podcast Lounge. This is Lucia
And this is
and
Fumi.
all right, Fumi, take it away.
So welcome to the Sisters Let's Talk podcast. Today we have some special guests here. Like we've been promising you listeners, we do have a special guest here, and we would like to introduce them to you. Frida, we're going to ask you because we just know how to introduce ourselves as a woman. No offense to the guy, but I know you will do justice in introducing him. What's there to say? What's your story?
That's our story. Well, I'm Frida. Originally from Ghana.
Okay.
And you are?
I'm Nana, originally from Ghana. Kumasi.
Ghanaians in the house. So where did you guys meet? In Kumasi or in Accra?
So Accra is the capital of Ghana.
Yeah. So where did you meet?
Oh, we met in Accra.
Okay.
He came to Legon, the university. We met at the University of Ghana. We were both at the uni there.
I had moved from Kumasi to Accra to attend university there, right?
Okay.
So then I knew a friend of hers.
Yes. They were in the same dormitory or hostel, I think, right?
Same hostel.
Yeah. And who saw who first?
Hey.
I'm going to the story.
You always have to go into the story. Why don't we hear your version?
You have the perfect version, but I like to add all my imaginations to it. So you tell the real story, then I will tell them about the whole imagination.
What he means is that he made a whole movie production unreal. Anyway, so
I want to hear it.
Right?
Okay, so we met at the uni, like he said. One of my friends, childhood friends, who've known each other for a long time, went to primary, not high school. But then we always have this standing girls' not night. Like we go for either drink or pizza, like lunch, girls' lunch, if you will. And we were at the restaurant with 4 girls, and he came to buy pizza there.
Right.
So when he was passing by, then our mutual friend saw him. He's like, "Hey, no," and then he comes over, and then my friend introduces him to all of us, and then what happens next? You sat down. Did she invite you to sit down?
She didn't invite me.
You just sat down.
I just sat down.
Why?
Why? Because I've seen her.
Ooh.
I've seen her. And I'm like, I need to take a seat. I can't just walk away with this pizza because my whole intention was getting the pizza and going home.
That's right.
What I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, let me sit down. And I had to sit down. So I sat down, then continue from there.
Why? Anyway, you sitting beside me or?
I wasn't. No. I was never going to sit beside you because if I was, I wasn't going to get a clear picture of you.
That's right.
If I'm sitting beside you, how am I going to be looking at you back and forth? Then we'll be like, what is this guy thinking? You know what I'm saying? So it was. That's what I'm saying. I had my own production. So I had to speak right directly to her so that I can get that face and contact and everything and see how to respond to my conversation.
That's right.
So conversation started and the Ashanti Kingdom thing came up.
Yeah.
And thank God she was so interested in history and
I'm
stuff.
a big history buff.
She's a
And oh my goodness, I had to bring out all my
history knowledge.
And he likes talking about his history. So hey.
Then since I knew she was interested, I'm like, oh my God, this is it, man. I didn't have to go drive a car to get this girl impressed. Just to tell her my history, I'm on it.
You're on it. You got it.
Oh yes, I did justice to it, and we talked and we talked and we talked, and I couldn't even eat my pizza.
Oh wow!
I didn't a slice or two.
Not a slice or two. About 4 slices.
But it was a lot left though.
Yeah,
no, I said
you had. Yeah,
I had a slice or two because of the talking and everything. So I didn't really eat much.
Yeah.
So what happened was they said I tossed the pizza in the garbage.
So this is a contentious moment because all my girlfriends were like, okay, we're sipping on our, and this is uni, mind you, so we are on like skeletal budget.
Yes.
This was Mr. Banter here, has a whole like extra large pizza, huge. He tastes like he was eating a slice before he saw the friend, and after that we didn't see him eating any, and he didn't ask us if we wanted any of his slices of pizza. Because mind you, I had him like answering so many questions, and we're talking so much, and the other girls were also talking. But apparently, everybody's eye was on that pizza. I didn't.
And you guys weren't offered.
No, we're not offered. And you know what he did when he I finally when everyone's like, look, we can't stay here anymore. We're done talking. You just keep talking to him, and you're not talking to us. And he gets up and throws it in the bin, and everybody was like, what?
Like you confused him, he lost all his manners, like everything.
So years later, they are telling me you tossed the pizza in the garbage, and I'm like, I don't even remember I did toss the pizza in the garbage.
Wow. You were mesmerized.
I'm telling you, I don't even remember I was having pizza at that moment. So that process of tossing the pizza in the garbage, it doesn't even come to my mind. I don't even remember that.
Did you buy the pizza?
No, buying the pizza, I understand I did because because that's the reason why I went there. Because if I didn't buy the pizza, I wouldn't have met them, right? So that buying the pizza acknowledgement, yes, I know that. But from there, I don't remember any pizza again.
Oh wow! That you were walking on cloud 9 out of that pizza place.
I'm telling you, honestly, imagine having a family, giving birth, like at that instant moment, honestly, I'm not even lying. I've already pictured I'm married to this girl already. Like, we are married. Right?
Wow. Wow.
And I didn't even know her. And you know the funny thing, I didn't even take her contact after the conversation.
Oh wow.
Because not like I didn't want to, but I thought, you know what, I've already married her. So what's the thing? Like,
and Frida, truth be told, for me, truth be told, he actually planned all the wedding time. He did all the planning. So
he already had the vision, and that was said.
There was no need for like a number, like, oh yeah, like, oh, I'm not going to be here again. Oh, I've already married you, so why do I be like, That was how the whole thing happened, and it was quite interesting.
That is, I love that story, Frida. I see why you can't tell the story totally. I totally understand that.
I say, like you said, I say the facts. He has like the movie rendition of the facts. So
after some days, right?
Yeah. I gave you my number.
Yeah, I went to her actually, and I'm like, we met constantly, but I think the day after. Maybe a week. I didn't even ask her anything again.
This is my friend.
The friend.
The mutual friend.
That I mean, because we're in the same dormitory, like the same way. So I never asked her the number for like a week. So after a week, and I asked her, she's like, so what were you waiting for? I'm like, what? She's like, I knew you. I'm like, Nana, please, just give me the number. So she gave me the number. I think
without asking me,
without asking her. But she was.
They always do that.
The number right away.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But usually, the reason why she did that actually was because she knows my MO, which is I either don't talk or I ignore you. So for me to be talking to you that long, it means either I'm interested or subconsciously interested and didn't know. So there's no harm. We really talk for a long time.
And really if that was the case, that's why I didn't give the pizza again.
Yeah,
because the pizza was cold.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it needed to be tossed out in the garbage.
No, it needed to go home and be rewarmed.
No, I was so full from the conversation. Again, I don't
physical food was not. I totally understand. I totally understand.
And look what you gained from just from tossing pizza.
I know,
right? right? Maybe I was supposed to choose between the pizza
Oh
and the load that I got. So imagine I took the pizza home. I would have lost it.
You could have lost it. And those three boys.
Oh my goodness, tell me about it. For just what, half extra large pizza? I tossed it right away.
You gained a wife and three boys. And just look at it.
Yes.
How many years after? And you still can remember.
12.
No, 12 years married. But this is what, 2003?
Thereabout.
So we've known each other.
We've gone through a lot.
We've known each other for a while.
For a while, yeah.
Oh, wow.
For a while.
Yeah. Maybe 20 years.
Maybe it's looking like
Almost half your lives.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But it was a point. Knowing her was a point I really knew life. Like I was starting to know life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Moving from parents, coming to a new city,
and so it's like you can even say the whole life. Like when I really knew life. I called you.
Yeah.
You didn't pick up something like that.
I didn't know the numbers.
And I think it was later on, Nana told you that I've been trying to call you, my friend. And I think from there she gave me some one or two, you know how it is.
Yeah. Wait.
She gave me one or two.
In his mind, we're married. In my mind, we just met.
For you, and we just met.
You were slow to catch up to the vision.
Yeah. But like him as a human being because he had this nice he had a spirit that like it was not like you see with other guys wanting some other things from you or one thing from you, right? He didn't show us that. So right from the bat he just stood apart. Even if just for friendship, in my mind even people randomly would say, "Oh well, he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice." I'm like, yeah, he's a nice guy.
So I'm gonna say something right there. So do you think there is a thing about soulmates? Do you think that connection or that saying that I found my soulmate is a thing? Is actually real?
I will say it is in a way. Why in a way? Yes, you can see someone and say, this is my soulmate. But as to it working out, it's also another issue. You know, you can see someone and say, oh, this is my soulmate. I can live with this person.
Yeah.
But in my mind, how I've pictured everything, we're already married, have kids, and everything. So that is my point of it working.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that soulmate is big. I don't say it's not. It's so dead. But the point is, you might find that soulmate. But are you ready to make it work?
To make the work.
You're saying so you could be soulmate, but it doesn't necessarily mean that like
you will work.
It worked it out. Like it can really work to be married people living as one.
As one.
But you can just see someone, not even see nowadays and everything. People put their this, I like this, I like that. Reading those, and you'll be like, oh, that's my soulmate. But does that transform to you living as couples?
So if you were to name 3, like you talked about working it out, right? Things have to be in place for you to see yourself as a couple. If right off the bat, I would say 3 things that everybody needs to work together to make a soulmate work or a couple thing work, what would those 3 things be?
Those just understanding each other. One, and love. 2. Because you might find your soulmate, but do you love the person?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? I said 2, right?
Yeah.
I said love, and I said what?
Understanding each other.
And also the patience. Patience. To me, the 3 things. Patience. Patience is needed in every aspect of even the loving and then the understanding.
Yeah.
Probably when she saw me or I saw her, she said, oh, I liked him as a friend, like one of the stands out. But probably the love wasn't there.
Yeah.
Probably there was no way
Yes.
the understanding was going to be there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with patience, with time,
Mm-hmm.
the, came, the caring for me came,
Yeah.
understanding me came because of
Mm-hmm.
patience.
Mm-hmm.
So if the patience is not there, even if I find my soulmate today and I
Mm-hmm.
love her today,
Mm-hmm.
down the line, if I don't have the patience to understand, to care,
Mm-hmm.
to believe in her,
Mm-hmm.
all these things will fade away. We cannot stay together as a family or
Yeah.
like couples. So
Mm-hmm.
I think patience really, really, no matter all the three or all the factors that you have, you
Mm-hmm.
should back it up with patience.
The
That's what I think.
patient.
He's a very patient guy for
He's
sure.
very
Mm-hmm.
patient.
Way more patient to be with me. You have to be, and he, I don't, even if he's saying like patient, maybe his patient translates for me like into time
Yeah.
because it would. I guess it's all part of patience, so I
Yeah.
won't put words in. his mouth. So for me, it will be friendship
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Like yeah, I have to like be friends at the very least level. We should be good friends,
Good friend.
besties. That level,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there should be also like God goes. He will mention God because he say it goes without saying. But I'll
Mm-hmm.
mention I tweet that for sure. God prayers, like you need all those things.
Yeah.
You need it so much that it wouldn't work
Yeah.
without no, it won't work. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
friendship, God, and and I think I'll have to say trust.
Yeah.
I, I have to. I don't know if loving, which I do love him,
Mm-hmm.
and we all say love, but at the end of the day, when you're working it out,
Yeah.
and love is at that moment when because you're getting on each other's nerve, and love is not right there at that moment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Not because it's but it's just taking a back seat because right. I need to have that trust. Like that
Yeah.
trust is what will carry me that no matter what, I know this guy will not cross the line. That I believe in him, I trust in him, and I know he trusts in us that we are holding on no matter what. Right? We're
Yeah.
holding firm. So I think for me, trust is so important because trust is a thing that it takes long for me to develop. I don't just give it up. So
Yeah.
once I give it, then it means that yeah, we're do or die.
Yeah.
We're ready to go, right? So for me, it will be those three. That I have to trust you above all else, except God. But yeah,
Yes.
trust for.
That
I
is
like what you say about love,
that's beautiful.
because love is a feeling, but it is also an act. It's an action, right? It's you have to be intentional. People get in and say, "Oh, I love you," and then they say, "Let's get married," and they feel like we're gonna be in love forever after. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's intentional because it will
Yeah.
ebb and flow. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean you fall. I mean, I guess they would say you fall out, but you have to be intentional about it.
Excited to have our guests that we're going to be talking to on the show. They have been some special people to me and to our community in particular. By the way, I'm Fumi, one of the hosts of Sisters Let's Talk, and I'm here with my co-host,
Lucia.
Lucia. So, and I am gonna try to introduce this couple because it's a marriage series. I'm gonna try to introduce them. Do have Pastor and Mrs. Latang on the show. They are so special to us right now because they are less than 3 months in this whole thing. So I am so super doped, excited, lit to talk to a newlywed because I can't remember what I was doing 3 months after I got married. I have no idea what I was doing. So I am so excited. Teddy, I have known since even before we got here to where we
Oh,
are right now.
oh,
We were refugees together, so we've come a long way.
One has
wow, wow, wow.
And we happened to come to America and live in the same state and go to the
Mm,
uh-huh.
mm,
same
mm.
church.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a long, long journey and a
Yeah.
wild one, which hopefully you can get to hear a little bit about in our conversation today. And knowing Pastor Baba, since we went to the same church and we've
Mhm.
all been in there singing
Yep,
and doing life
yep,
together, I've
yep.
seen them grow. I've seen them just evolve into this person, and now they're a couple. They're a thing. One unit together. I am super, super, super dope excited to have you.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome to the
Thank
show.
you.
Can you tell us where you're from? Because we know, but I think it would be nice for our audience to hear.
So I am from an island in the Caribbean called Dominica.
Mm,
Usually, when I say Dominica, people think of Dominican Republic, but it's
Mm-hmm.
no,
something different. And
exactly.
the island over there, obviously, our forefathers are from Africa, so we are Africans. We just happen to be on the other side of the continent. So, and Sierra Leone in particular is it's very close to us, to the culture, so many
Mm.
similarities,
Mhm.
you know. So that's where I'm from. I'm Dominica in the Caribbean.
And Teddy,
And I am from Sierra Leone.
nice. Sierra Leone and Caribbean in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So
What a blend.
I know what a blend. So newlyweds, you're starting a journey right off the bat. It's 3 months. You've got some time to for some things to show up, right? For some things to show up. And it's a good phase because it's the honeymoon phase. It's like at this point, it's like that exploring discovery kind of state.
Mm.
As a newlywed, what is one thing that you were not expecting to find out that you have started to notice? And it doesn't have to be anything bad. It doesn't have to be negative. It's like just I was not expecting this because I think a lot of us think in dating we kind of have we've known a lot, but it's I feel like it's different when you're actually living with the person 24/7 and you have to do life
Yeah.
together. What is that one thing that you think have come up? One couple that came up, they said like I love this because of ourselves we would not have asked these questions, but because we got to talk about it, I feel like I know her more than I did before I came, and they were married 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she came and said like I love this because we don't come up with these questions at all, we don't think about it, but like just not having the time to construct it and make it look all nice and embellished, it
Mm.
has helped me learn something that I would not have if I had not talked to you guys. So that I just want to bring that up, and that is how we found some things about ourselves too, just by asking the questions that people asking us too.
Mm.
So.
For me, it's just like you said, this new journey
Mm-hmm.
to see the transition from the independent life, the single life. Like, you have your own way, you did things your own way, you move when you work. I mean, even today in church, usually when church would be done, I take my bag and I go home. But now the other lady's meeting and I have to be waiting and waiting for her because we came in the same ride. So kind of
Yes.
the transition from the single life and everything you did all by yourself now to kind of
Mm-hmm.
having somebody else be part of all those decision making stuff.
That is a good one. That is a really good one. And I was hoping that you bring that up because it is something that dating, you don't think about it. You feel like, oh yeah, we did this together, we've done this. Um, so I like that you brought that up. So with that said, I know we're gonna talk about how God sees marriage. I'm going to transition to that. How do you believe that God in Himself intended marriage to be, especially when transitioning from single to one? I don't feel like it's the easiest transition ever. So, Sister Kadi, I'm going to give that to you. How do you
Yeah,
believe God stays marriage?
you know, first of all, the intention of God is for a man not to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Needs a helpmate, need a companion.
Mm-hmm.
So the way God sees marriage, it's an institution that God really honored. He has said that it's not good for a man to be alone. So
Mm-hmm.
which means he honored it. That's why he said it's not good for a man to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you should take a wife and the two shall become one flesh.
Mm.
So it's very important for in the sight of God.
But it's hard though. That one flesh thing, it has taken me a while to get to understand that. Pastor, could you break that down for me? Because I know you've done counseling. Even before you went into it, you know what it means. That one flesh. Just break it down a little bit. Because
Right,
I have
right,
struggled a little bit with that.
right. You know, and I think it's the challenge there is two separate individuals with a life, with a dream. You know, everybody has their own goals. And then God is bringing those two people together.
Mm,
And now they say, okay, well, you know what? I had a purpose of God for my life, and
mm-hmm,
you had a purpose of God for your life.
mm,
So now we're going to come together. Let us see how we can now take those two purposes
mm,
and see what is the common that God have for both of us.
mm,
And then and in that way, we now can live a joint purpose that God has for us as a family.
mm,
So, for example, like if one of our goals was to serve God all the days of our life, to do good to humanity,
mm-hmm,
then we begin now to think of, well, this is our purpose. That's what we're going to do right now. And in
mm-hmm,
the relationship, in the marriage, we're going to support each other now to accomplish that purpose, you know, that God has for what we sense that God has for each of our lives. And the key of it is not where we still want to go ahead doing our own, living our own purpose.
mm,
When they say that two shall become one flesh,
mm,
that now things that you could not do by yourself, now you have somebody who's going to help you, assist you in a spirit of unity. Because you could have two people together and it's creating, you not unite, it's creating more problems.
mm-hmm,
You see? So the important word is together in unity. How can two work together unless they agree, unless they are in unity? I think that's the key. And then
mm,
when you say about in unity, united about what? What are you in unity about?
mm-hmm,
Well, that thing that we're saying, well, what is it that you really want to do in your life? Okay, this is what we are going to be doing together. We're going to agree on those things. So, like, for example, like right now is a good challenge.
mm-hmm,
He's from Sierra Leone, I'm from the Caribbean. Now, am I going to want to go back to Dominica? Is she going to go back to Sierra Leone? And then one go that way, one go that way? No, no, no. We come together and say, okay, well, this is a purpose that we have. How do we make that work? What are we sensing? What is God leading us? That's the purpose. What is God leading us? What is He
mm-hmm.
saying to us right now? So that's just in a nutshell what I think.
So, Pastor, if I may ask, God is intentional. Is would there be a difference then if two people come together? They just, the world we live in, fell in love. They think, oh, I think we're gonna make a good couple, and they get married, and they've become one. Versus two people who sought God, and he and we're gonna go with the fact that they both heard from God and said, yes, let's go and marry together. And they come together. Does that make those that couple more successful in marriage than the one that they just fell in love and then they came together, whether they and then maybe let's say they became Christians? Does that make one better than the other, or more successful in marriage than the other?
Yeah, this is And because you say pastor, I will respond to that. Right. This is a very good question. And I always say that at the end of the day, a relationship is between a man and a woman. Now, there are some people that did not know anything about God, and they have such great relationships together because although they know nothing about God. Why? Because they came together and they realized that we are stronger together. Um, and for us, especially from the church point of the Christians, it is always good, where you say the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, where, in your heart of hearts, you've been praying and asking God for something. And usually, if you feel like this is a person that God gave to you, you'll be very more loyal to it. Because, I'm saying that God gave me, I feel in my heart that God gave me that person. Although there are times people give miraculous testimonies of how God bring them together, and tomorrow you had them breaking up. What about the God bringing you together? So, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, one, being led by God is a good direction. Like you say, God, I think God led us to each other. We could say that based on how that direction comes. Some people say their gut feeling, but also looking for somebody that you have a relationship and maybe you see something in them. You're like, you know what? This is not perfect, but I think I can live with that, and then sometimes as you live with each other, you begin to discover things you never knew. And so I don't know if I answered your question. I got this, I try to.
It's a good way to look at it. The other day I was somebody said, I think it was during one of our discussions, like I wake up in the morning or I look at this person and say, man, God gave me this person to love. They look at it as a privilege. So you go through your day just satisfying that desire or that knowing that, man, God gave me that person to love. God gave me you. God really loved me so that he gave me you to express that love too. I think it's a different feeling than we're married, so I have to love you.
Right.
Yeah. So I just have to be your wife. I just have to be your husband. But when you look at each other and like, damn, I got the privilege, I got the honor to love you again today. I think it changes the perspective of the whole thing with marriage. But
Mhm.
God designed marriage to like you mentioned for a lot of things: partnership, spiritual intimacy, and ability to pursue God together. And a lot of us like those. We get it at the start of every, like we get it at the start of life, that this is really what I want to do with this person. But then life happens. So, Kadi, I want to ask, so what are some of the things that just practically you will say, if you put these things in place, then you're able to get to that purpose? Like our pastor was talking about that one purpose that you have to have. But how do you get to even designing that purpose? Like how do you get to come to that place?
In the day-to-day happenings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like you said, like two people from different background. Even, come to think about it, two people from the same mother, even twins, they're different.
Yeah.
Characters, in the way they do things,
Yeah.
in the way they communicate. Talk less, two different people from different countries coming together. I think more of communication. Talk about stuff. Try to know each other because it's a day-to-day learning. You're not going to be perfect one day. It's a day-to-day learning because just like you said, I mean, we are in each other's face,
Yep.
It's the way I used to do things and the way he used to do things is quite different. But like right now, we're trying to accommodate each other. We're trying to be there for each other, not feel condemn or try to accommodate ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I think it's getting to that point that both of you kind of, like he said, like start finding that place that works. And sometimes it takes it takes a lot of mistakes, hopefully not too many. Some of us haven't gone the right way, trying to come to that place faster. We've taken a long route, and then we come, we come there, and you're like, duh, we could have done this better if we're thinking. But what in the story of marriage, it's a book that I read, that really helped us in our marriage as well. The pastor said, that was talking, it's like marriage is like two people. So it's like looking at it like a round circle, and you put a line in between. Somebody has all these circles on one side, and somebody has all these X's on the other side. Apart, everybody has their own stuff going on, right? But when you come together, those X's and those circles, they need to be distributed evenly for it to even work, for it to even, because just your X's satisfies you, just your circle satisfy you, but until that X gets that circle and that other circle gets that X, it's always going to be that pull apart, because you're not complete without each part. So that idea, that thing that you wanted to work on, that thing that I wanted to work on, we need that idea coming together for it to work.
Welcome. Welcome everyone to the Sisters Let's Talk podcast lounge. Today we have two gentlemen. We've said in the past that the Sisters Let's Talk is not only just for sisters. Today we have two brothers, well, in the lounge. Today we are talking about sex/intimacy in marriage. Yes, we are Christians, but we also have sex, so we have to talk about sex. We know that Christians especially, and then we come back to our community, African/Black people, is not something we like to talk about, but here at the lounge we talk about it. So welcome. I'm Lucia, and Fume is on, and we're just going right into it.
Well, welcome everyone. So one way we like to start, I know most podcasts ask you your name and introduce yourself. We start with a word. So it's a word game. You don't have to think a lot about it. I say a word, what comes to mind. So today we're gonna no, you don't have to think a lot about it. It's a word that you know already. So two other words that come to, we're making it easy on you guys. Two other words that come to mind when I say this word. So, Mr. Elvis, you first on my screen. When you hear the word naked, what comes to mind?
Your eyes say it all.
When I hear the word naked, I know someone is naked.
What other two words come to mind?
Well,
you can't think. That's
you can't think about it. Just think. Like,
yeah, so
sort it out.
What runs through your mind?
You have some hidden parts hanging out.
Uh-huh.
And the next thing is, what's wrong with that person?
Okay, right.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
When you hear the word naked, what comes to mind? Two other
Intimacy,
words. Uh-huh.
intimacy, and sex.
Intimacy and sex. Well, welcome to the Sisters Let's Talk podcast. That's how we start the show today. Today we have Elvis and Bright on the show, and they're gonna help us talk about this topic, sex and intimacy in marriage, in our lives as a whole, and what's love got to do with all of this, with anything at all. So,
Kumi,
Elvis, yes,
can we let's just be fair to the guys. What comes to mind when you think about naked?
I see, comes to mind roles. That
Oh,
means
okay.
I see roles and um curves and naked I see rolls and
Mm-hmm.
tufts.
Mm-hmm.
Um and naked I see vulnerability, openness.
Okay. I see energy and I see the last one that you said, vulnerable.
Yeah.
So we have the two guests, as we said, Bright and Elvis. I think I was going to introduce them, but I'm only going to introduce them as where they're coming from. Then I think we would like them to just tell us a little bit about themselves and how long they've been married, since this is a marriage series. So let's start with Bright. Bright is from the GHANA Ghana.
Woohoo! Ghana in the house.
GH.
Tell us about
Welcome,
yourself.
right? Welcome to the podcast.
Good to have me around.
So let's know
So,
a little bit about you.
what do you want to know? Tell me.
How long have you been married?
11 years.
And
11 years. 11 wonderful years. It doesn't seem like it's 11, but it is
mm,
11 years.
mm-hmm.
Um, you already know my name. She already said I'm from Ghana. Was from Ghana and kind of is from Ghana. Um, been here. I've been around here. I don't know, man. Like 25 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said, I'm a lab tech. I've gone to school. I've university and done a bunch of programs and stuff like that here and there. But I do have a passion in sort of like the relationship, keeping the family together kind of thing. Um, like those are like the areas that, because I feel like for me, to keep the church together, to keep the service to God and everything, it's family is a huge part of it.
So Elvis, a little bit about you. Elvis is from Cameroon. Whoop whoop.
Yeah, man. We had another Cameroon. Well, she's married to a Cameroonian. Someone
Mm-hmm.
else that was a guest.
Yeah. So French or English? Part of
English, please.
Cameroon.
So, thank you for having me on the show.
Mm-hmm.
As you all know, my name is Elvis. Um, from Cameroon. I've been married for 11 years and almost 12.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am in the medical field, but my passion is in finances.
Okay.
So I am a financial advisor as well, and I do help families, to create generational wealth for themselves, plan for their children's education, plan for retirement, and give them strategies they can use in having a brighter future. So it's all about just creating wealth from the hard-earned money we are making. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
passion for me, and that's what I go around doing um, the rest of my days when I'm not in a
Okay.
medical scenario. Yeah, so that's kind of basically all about me, and empowering families. Because, once you help a family and the family can generate wealth, they are also healthy. Because sometimes, as they say in the medical field, if you see a patient come in being depressed and having issues, after talking to the patient, the next thing is, how is your financial status? Majority of them, that's the cause of all their trouble. So if you can fix that, then you'll fix so many things in their lives. So that's why I'm kind of passionate about it.
That is good. I can now I see the connection. I can see that. I can see that. Yep. Money does a lot of things. The Bible says it's a list of these things, but it's essential. Yep. It's what goes around. Cool. So, well, welcome, and we're just gonna get into the conversation. Oh, I was asking Elvis, are you from the French or the English part of Cameroon?
Actually, it's tricky.
Oh,
Originally
okay.
from the French, but more the English side.
More to the English side. So, for our right off the bat question, and it's a yes or no. So it's a rapid fire. We're not gonna give you time again to think about it. Foreplay, yes, no.
Yes.
Definitely yes.
Yes. Um, do you go overboard to make your spouse feel special? And do they and
If
so
they don't notice, so you go overboard to make your spouse feel special. And if they don't notice, do you blow up and bring up other things that you've done in the past and they missed, or B, you feel like a failure and that you never do anything right, C, you point out what you did and give them the opportunity to show appreciation. Or we could say D, none of the above.
This is in the role of the foreplay. Topic of foreplay. Well, I would say none of them should actually, I would say none of the above, because foreplay is not about your spouse, you doing something and getting appreciation for, because it's something that um, both of you need to be involved and enjoy it. So it's not about I'm doing this for you, so show appreciation. So I would say none of the above, right? And there's nothing to brag about as well, right? Because just like in a job world, the sexual act, not everybody has the same experience, right? So you don't need to, rub it on your forehead or rub it on the face of the other that you're better at this than that person, because it takes two to tangle. So there's no need here, right? So I would say none of the above.
Is that really true for guys though?
Well, I don't know.
You're a guy.
Like you do it, like you've no. Okay, let's Bright answer the question.
Yeah, let Bright answer, because we're about to go into it.
I agree with what he said. That's none of the above. Also, just because for me it's like this, okay? You do your part, and you don't have to worry about the other person. And especially you as a man, from what I've learned, it's my responsibility to make sure that my wife is like what you guys say, go overboard and make her special. That's my job. Okay. This is just my perspective. If she decide to go overboard on my end, hallelujah, praise God. Right. But you see, because for us men, most men, huge percentage of men, it's you don't have to do too much. You ladies don't have to do too much. Honestly, we have to make sure that you guys are at your peak. Okay, before we get to where we really want to get to, because that's where disappointment comes. If you don't, then okay, I was gonna say something, but fine. I'll just say, okay, I'll just say, if you can edit if you want. Like, if you don't and you have the spouse that I have, she's not she's a body language kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't vocalize stuff. So someone like me that read, either you are verbally telling me something or your face is telling me, okay, that's it, kind of thing. Then the man has to make sure that she is where she wants to be. And I bet you once she is where she wants to be, you don't have to do much. She's gonna reciprocate that, right? So what he's saying, I agree with what he's saying. It's not about, oh, good job, or it was good, or kind of thing like that. If that comes, sure, but that's not the goal. The goal is to make sure that she is good. You got to let us know too what words we can use here and what words we can use here, because I want to say certain things, but
this is the lounge.
This is
the
the
goal
lounge.
is to make sure that she comes.
Yeah.
It's hard for most ladies to come. Men, honestly speaking, I'm sure Elvis will agree with me. It doesn't take that long. You don't gotta do much. But for most women, and I would say most, not all women, for most women, you have to work hard, which pretty much starts from the beginning of your day, right? I think I'm gonna stop here before I keep saying stuff that you guys are gonna really ask questions about.
Well, that's what we want. We want to ask the questions. So, I did catch a little bit. It starts from the beginning of your day, and you also, I'm gonna hold that, and you also said something about oh, I was holding on to it. You also
about not having to do much.
No. I was trying to bring it to that pathology, the body part. You said women, it takes a little bit longer because of how, is it about how they're made? Is it something physical, psychological? Like why is that?
Yeah, why do you guys think that?
Elvis, do you want to speak to this, or?
And that is why I'm so excited that I have a PA in the house. I have a pathologist. I am so excited about this conversation.
I'm gonna borrow something I saw somewhere. Someone was making a post on this. Anatomically, it's a little bit it's like searching for, a pirate searching for a treasure. Sometimes for some women, for men to bring women to that point, right? Because you all are built a little different.
Yep.
Right. And to get that right trigger point is like searching for a treasure. You have to experiment and go, and keep on going. So like he said, like Bright said, like you start working hard from the beginning of your day. It's just like that. So you're working hard searching for it. Right. And some people at the end of the day, they don't find it. Some people, they find it. Right. So it's anatomical, right?
Okay.
At the same time, it could just be a psychological thing.
Okay.
Right? On the part of the woman. Right? Some might be, well, I don't know how it feels. I have never really been explored the way you're doing. And I feel uncomfortable with what you're doing. Right? And then at the end of the day, then the woman is like, well, I don't really know. I didn't come and I don't know why I'm not. Right? It's just where there are just little barriers around, and that makes it really hard for the men, right? Because we really need to explore. We That's an exploration thing, which you might be lucky, you take a shorter period. You might be, if you're unlucky, you take a longer period. With a man, well, it's straightforward, and it's a straight line, and you hit on it. But with a woman, with women, it's like in the map. You're searching all over the place. So I would say it has something to do with anatomy, and it has something to do with, the psychology or state of mind of the woman, right?
Cool. Looks like lost
Can
us here somewhere.
I
Yep.
add up?
Go on.
So yeah, like what he said is correct, and kind of want to add it that, for I mean, it's only 11 years, right? And for me personally, most of my friends are females, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I say this, and I mean, I stand corrected, but most females are kind of sensitive as to the kind of things you say to them as a spouse.
Okay.
So your husband, and I like to put it like just being nice to your wife pays off, right? And I mean, if my wife listens to this podcast, I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I might be saying stuff
You might
she
win
already
some
knows.
brownie points. Just look at it that way. Because she gets to hear the
Oh,
real
I might get
you.
some
So
knocks.
that's fine.
I might get some knocks on the head. That's why too. I use it as an example. So it's anatomical, and right here in the mind, those two are so connected, right? So if you don't speak right to them right here, down there it's just there, it's not connected.
Yeah.
And for females, most females, it's gotta go both ways.
Yeah.
For us, most men, it doesn't matter. I mean, I can speak for myself.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. Okay,
Yeah.
you can insult me and still it
You
doesn't
still
change much
can.
for me, right?
That is
You know what I'm saying?
interesting though. It is interesting because and I would totally agree to that because my brain and the rest of my body connect so well. Like if there's
that actually is what brought on this conversation about let's have a conversation about sex and marriage, because we were like, you guys, it's like there's
only one thing. There's only
connect.
one thing that I want to say, right, about what you and I'm pretty sure Elvis will probably. For men, a lot of times I think it's a lot psychological than anything else. If your spouse is disrespecting you, for a lot of men, it's psychological. It's like, or like he said, financially, if it's terrible, some men, it's just not gonna get there. What I mean by it's not gonna get there is like some men, when there's no money, when they feel like you disrespected them and stuff like that, turning on is just not gonna happen.
It's not hard. It's
something that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So all I'm trying to say is that why we have to work hard for you ladies is in the morning when I'm at work, I know when I'm not gonna get it. I know it. I know
Is
it.
it written? Like, do we
because
say it?
I have No, I'm gonna tell something to my wife that she wasn't excited about it. So when I get home, guess what? The nicest thing I gotta do is just shut up. I don't know if I was supposed to use that word there, but I did. The nicest thing I need to do is just keep it zip. And if she talks to me, hey, so
you make sure you answer and be on your best behavior.
Best behavior, that's it. And if you're not on your best behavior, then again, you have some females too.
Yeah.
Some females, it doesn't matter to them, right? So yeah.
So I've heard this, and Elvis, I'll start with you on this part of things. So, like Bright said, it's one of those things that yes, it's psychological, but like he also mentioned, is the psychology or the thinking pattern different from men and women? Because like he said, I know when I'm not going to get it or because I've done something. But on the other part, it says if I'm thinking about this too much, right? I'm thinking about money, I'm thinking about the lack of money, I'm thinking about disrespect, I don't get aroused at all. Like nothing happens. Whereas on the other part, some people, that's the time they get aroused when they like something is stressing them. I just need to forget about it. So I need that release. I need that. It feels like it's supposed to be released, because even the Bible, there is this rabbi that said sex is one of the creative, it releases creative dopamine, or I don't know if it was dopamine, but some
endorphins,
creative hormones that come out of you when you do have like really good orgasm sex. So what is that part of that psychology that we need to work on as humans, as married people?
So I think here we we have to be careful when we are talking about the psychology and the sexual part of it and the stress and the disrespect. So if you are at work and you're stressed about something at work, right? And you you want to take and you come back home, you have a lovely wife at home and everything, and you want to move away from that stress, and you look at your wife, and then you get aroused, and then you want to build up that stress, right? And that's where it works, right? But now, when you come, if the stress and the disrespect is coming from the partner, that's where the arousal part becomes very difficult. No matter how sexy your wife can be, no matter how the Victoria's Secret underwear she puts on high heels and run around you and even do all the type of flips she can do to arouse you, you're gonna be looking at how a Muslim is looking at a pork meat. Nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening.
Right? So we have to differentiate those two. True, there are others that they will fight with each other, disrespect each other, certain cultures, and then that will trigger them to have this explosive intercourse, which then resolves things. And after that, nobody talks about it, right? So it's kind of, you need to know which situation is there, right? Definitely a disrespectful wife, and if you feel like you're not being appreciated by the wife, will definitely make you not to be aroused towards the wife. That's for sure, right? It will take some work.
It takes some work,
right?
So if I may ask, if we can switch this a little bit. So yes, the wife is not disrespecting you, but what if, because I've heard from a few men, not just one, from a few men who would suggest that when I married my wife, she was always sexy and always dressing, provocatively, and I'll be attracted to that when I come home. But also as time goes on, things happen, whatever, that's not why we're here. But they may not have disrespected you, but if does it matter how they are dressed?
I think what she was going on with, like if I come home, I think we had talked about this in one podcast. If I come home and I meet that person praying and in that position of like, I am holy, like I am talking with Jesus, we're on the same part of the throne right now. And that just tells him like, okay, I can't deal with that holiness right now. So I need to find my own space and go get holy somewhere. So how does that affect your arousal? Like your is there a certain mood that you're looking for? Is there a certain thing that trigger? Because we're really trying to know your brain. Seriously, that is what my goal of this part is. Like because sometimes you're looking like, how have everything that has happened today and you still thinking that sex is gonna happen?